What are you doing in my seat? Howdy, hey, I'm Benjamin Cahoon, and welcome to Mug Talks. I just ordered a new mug from my friend Kate Gray Hemphill, and we are gonna start with a little unboxing video. So let's go. I'm so excited. No, I've had this for like a week, and I just wanted to like rip into it. Finally get to. Trying to hide my address from you all. Cute little note from Kate. I'm realizing that like my kitchen is a mess. I'm so sorry. Ooh, biodegradable packing peanuts. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, I've collected Kate's work for a few years now, so I'm very excited. Oh, yes. Oh, this is so cute. Ooh, it's very comfy too. I love that color. Now let's put some drink in it. That was my first unboxing video, let me just say. That was fun. Welcome to Mug Talks. It's a vlog where I sit here and I talk while I feature a mug. So today's mug that we're featuring is by Kate Gray Hemphill, and I absolutely love it. Oh, it's so cute. She did some like glaze masking with tape, so all of these grid marks have like a rougher texture than the glaze, so it's like really fun to hold and handle. Thank you, Kate. I love it. Kate and I were studio mates when we were in school together, so it's really cool to have another little piece of her here with me in my studio practice, so miss you lots, Kates. Today's beveragino is, you guessed it, Trader Joe's chai and Oatly milk, my favorites. Not sponsored, but oh, wouldn't that be fun? I did a little poll on Instagram asking for questions for me to answer for our mug talk session here, and one of the ones that I got the most was, how'd you get started in pottery? How'd you get started in clay? What is your origin story? We're gonna talk a little bit more about that today. Like, sticky fingers. I know I put like, oh goodness. Long, long time ago in a land far away known as the Oregon coast. Little Ben was just getting into high school, and I did all sorts of like the doodly drawing things. It's so cringy thinking back at it, but I got started drawing like these anime vampire boys with like face tattoos and like the sweeping Bieber bangs. Very dark and moody. I don't know, that doesn't have anything to do with ceramics, but I think it's funny to share. So before that, I was drawing these anime characters and dragons, like all these kind of things, and my freshman year in high school, I started getting into like a little bit more like real creatures and animals. So I was drawing a lot of realism stuff, mainly on sketchboard, and my art teacher was just like, you know, Benjamin, you should try some ceramics, some pottery. And I was just like, Kim, nah, I'm good. And she was like, I'm just saying you should give it a shot. And I was just like, maybe. Okay, I'll like try one class, like, I'll dabble, I'll dip my little toesies in there. And I did, and then I fell in love. Oh, it was so good. I was quite blessed to have a ceramic program in high school, so I would say, if you have a ceramic program and you're young in middle school, high school, or even in college, and you have the opportunity to take a clay class, like, absolutely go for it. It is so much fun. You learn so much outside of just pottery. Hanging out with friends, good community, but then also, like, it's an excuse in the middle of your school day to just, like, absolutely get covered in mud. It's a good time. It's a good time. I'm just saying. The first thing that I ever made was like a little bunny, a little rabbit. I wonder where that rabbit is today. I don't know. I have no idea where it could have been. But that first clay class really did change my life. I fell in love with the medium. I loved the way that it felt. I loved like the things that you could make with it. I liked being in a class where it was like very community oriented. Anyway, the next year when I was a junior, there was an opportunity where a local potter was looking for somebody to come in and like clean the studio and like help with glazing and all those things, so approached my art teacher. My art teacher was just like, yo Ben, you want a pottery job? And at that point I was working for an ice cream parlor. I am very lactose intolerant, so poor Benjamin, like, I mean at that point I didn't know, but I knew. You know, but you don't know, but I knew. But I didn't know. So I was like dying about all this ice cream. Then this pottery job like came up and I was just like, done, absolutely. I quit my job at the ice cream parlor and I started working as a ceramic like assistant. That was probably the most influential thing that happened in my life that set me on like a trajectory of working in ceramics and pottery, because I got to see somebody who made their entire living on making ceramics and selling inside of their store and teaching classes, which was so much fun. That potter was Alyssa Clark. She is still in practice today, so I'm gonna link her information in the show notes, as well as where you can get your very own Kate Gray mug. I know that there's some awesome things in her shop right now. I learned so much from Alyssa as far as learning how to hand build was really big, because a majority of her pieces in the studio were hand built, and so I learned a whole lot about that. The mug video that is linked right here, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm pointing, that is actually one of the techniques that I learned from Alyssa, and I love it. It changed mugs for me. It changed little hand-built mugs for me. I also learned how to manage a classroom by teaching. It was super duper fun because our studio was right next to some of like these bars downtown, and so I had these group of ladies who would like go get a drink at the bar and then come to like the late night pottery class, and it was so funny. I loved them so much. I don't remember their names, but they were a hoot and hoot. They were a hoot. I also learned a lot about surface decoration from Alyssa. A majority of her glazing practice is with underglazes, and so I would like tediously for hours paint the red hearts and then the blue frames and then the yellow medallions over and over and over again. And so like I really got a steady brushwork hand. I don't know what this motion is, but it's meant to demonstrate how steady my hands are. If you're looking for a way to get started in clay and you're no longer in school, community centers or local ceramic shops are gonna be a really amazing way to get involved with the ceramic and clay community. Just Google it. Google the clay. Google, I don't know. Google ceramic shop near me or Google community center near me and just call, just say, hey, like, I'm looking to get started in clay. Like, is there any way that I could come and visit your studio or start classes with you? And maybe they'll just get you plugged in. You never know. Pretty soon here, I'm gonna make a video about how to find a clay community and how to get started with a ceramic and pottery practice. So make sure you're following along so that when that comes out, you can know how to get involved and get your hands in the mud, in the clay. Because of the experience with Alyssa's studio, I was able to apply for a job when I was in school on managing studios. I was one of the studio techs for the university that I went to for the clay studio. And that is where I learned so much more about firing methods, what it actually takes to run a studio. And that's where I got plugged in with wood fire, which is just like one of my absolute loves. I love wood fire so very much. And it's also where I got to dedicate a lot of time to my own ceramic practice, meaning hours and hours in the studio just kind of like making really bad art. I don't know who needs to hear this, but like, you need to make bad art. Everybody needs to make absolutely trash, terrible. It's very, very important because you can't make good art without making terrible art. So I made a lot of really bad pottery, like handles way too big, like way too heavy, way too thick, way too thin, like they just look clunky, bad glazing, weird sculptures. Not to say that I didn't make anything that I liked in those beginning years of working on my own stuff, but a majority of it was really bad. And that's amazing. Making bad stuff is like the most important thing to do so that you can make good stuff later on. In school, that is also where I got my first set of commission work. I had a few ceramic shows where I was able to show the work that I was making at the time, and from there I got a job working for a coffee shop making their like logo branded mugs. And that was like, I had a taste of production ceramics from working with Alyssa, and I knew that I really didn't want to pursue that. But this commission was one of the ways that I was able to start realizing that I could pay for my university tuition by making ceramics and selling work. If you're out there looking for a commission, really, again, like I said, just Google coffee shops, or even just kind of show up and be like, hey, I'm a local potter, I love your coffee shop, and I love what you do here. The vibes are immaculate, and I would really love to make some mugs for you. Would you be interested in that? And you might get a few no's, and that's totally fine, but that's like the worst thing that could happen is a no. The best thing that could happen is they're like, yeah, totally, I'll take 150 and we'll pay you up front, which is about what happened, not that quantity, for the coffee shops that I was working for at that time. And about that time is when I started making work to sell on Etsy, which, I mean, subtle plug, if you're looking for a Benjamin Cahoon mug, my Etsy shop is open right now, linked in the bio. And I made a bunch of these really cute rainbow tumblers that I absolutely adore. They were really fun to make, and there's a few left, so go check it out. But Etsy was another moment when I really got to monetize my love, my practice with clay, and I was able to pay for school by selling mugs on Etsy, which is bonkers bananas. I mean, I also worked 2 other jobs while I was in school, so it's not the only thing that paid for my school, but it was definitely a heavy part of it. And here we are, post-grad, about a year out of school, and now I manage another ceramic studio in the same city as my university, and I love it so very much. Oh, it's really, really incredible. Being able to grow and foster a clay community has been one of the most rewarding things that I've done. Being able to see all ages, from little children all the way up to older people, touch clay for the first time and experience the joy of making something for the first time is just really beautiful, really empowering to those people, because a lot of people don't understand that they're capable until they step outside of their comfort zones, which is why one of the most important things I teach in my classes is vulnerability. Where my Brene Brown bitch is at. I love you, Brene Brown. She's somebody that you should really look up. She writes all about vulnerability and emotional literacy. She's really amazing. Anywho, the studio that I manage right now is also where I make all the work that I'm making currently. And I think that now is a time where I'm really settling down into a practice that I'm becoming proud of. I'm making a lot of sculptural vases, and I have lots of really cool projects that are in the works right now. I have a video coming out soon for a piece that I'm donating to a arts nonprofit. They're putting on a production of Our Town that promotes LGBTQ advocacy and awareness in our community, which I am so pumped for. It's gonna be so cool. So if you're interested in watching me make that entire piece, there's gonna be a video that follows along the entire process, start to finish. So yeah, I hope that answers your questions about how I got started in clay and what my pottery journey looks like. Thank you so much for joining me for Mug Talks. I'm really excited about this series and really happy that I'm able to be here with you. So if you want to see some more Mug Talks and you want me to answer a question that you have, make sure you comment that question down below or comment on one of my Instagram posts, and I'll be looking through and we'll answer another set of questions next week's Mug Talks. I upload my Mug Talks every Monday. Make sure you like and subscribe for so many more strange pottery topic videos. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Do you like my fancy camera setup?